Hey, good morning, fellas. It's Ken at Tortoise Capital. Sunday morning check in for Creativity 202. I believe we are on lesson 16 or session 16. We are on the lessons we're on. And good to see everybody. My quick check in. Our soccer team has finally found their stride. They've been the best team in the league for the last 5 weeks and absolutely crushed uh, our rivals from FC Austin 4-1 last night. Smashed them. It was great stuff. And I saw one of my soccer players that has graduated and is getting ready to go to grad school. She and her dad were at the stadium, and we ran across each other at the concession stand. And so she's going to come help me at the. She's back in town for a year, um, earning some money and whatnot. So she's going to come help me at the soccer camp that starts tomorrow morning for the next 6 weeks. So good times ahead. And all is well. Uh, Aho for me. Chun Long, how are you doing?
Everything's fine with me. Just enjoy life. Try to do more and harder work. Learn from everybody else. I hope.
And Kyun, how are you, sir?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Yeah, we're about to have a thunderstorm, it seems. This morning and yesterday was all very hot and heat wave and everything, and now we're about to have a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
But yeah, all good otherwise. Thanks. I hope.
Yep. And Jeff, how are things out there?
Great. I'm off today and tomorrow, so time to refresh and rest up.
Cool. And Ernie, what's going on, man?
Morning. Everything is good here. We had some good rain last night. Been a while since we've had nice steady rain, and had a great meeting yesterday with Bill Long. He was super. Met with our creativity group, and it was our accountability group, and it was really a good session. He was really nice to go over a lot of stuff with us, so we enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I hope.
he's a pretty good fella. I like him. I like my brother a lot. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move us into the room, and looking forward to your work in progress and check-ins. So here we go. Make sure sound is on. Here we go. Chunlong.
I always want to be the first, but I waited. Um, my work in progress. Word of last week's awareness. I try to be aware of my thoughts and feelings while I do the tradings. Journal down why enter and exit a trade. Need some time to review my journals. Uh, Last week I take 25 trades, 4 days. Monday I didn't trade. Um, I, I lost a total 7 hours, including commissions. Basically, I most of my trade take 1 minute charts. That's why I was caught in the consolidation zones. Now also just try to do the stop and reverse. I get 3 or 4 times wrong. That's a total 7 hours. For the past 4 weeks, I took total 120 trades. lost 23R, including commissions. The platform charged me some fees. Even I don't trade, they still charge some, like $50 per month. So it's not a total 23R. You know what I mean? So in my mind, it's not too bad in absolutely money because of my position sizing and also need to pay the platform fees anyway. My understanding of that is, I paid my tuition for the trading university. No big deal. Keep going, move on. The good thing for last week, I didn't make those bad old habit mistakes, which can lead to catastrophic, failure. I didn't make that. Really aware of that thought come out, saying, if I do that, it could be better. Then another self come out, say, I will not do that. So really aware of that. So most of my trade taking on 1 minute charts, even though I plan to take the 3 minutes charts. That's a sign of lack of patience, lack of discipline. They need to work on that. Other things I noticed when I was guessing the market direction, now look around saying it will go up or go down, and I missed the signal, missed the standard pattern, and then regret didn't take it, so knock me out of 0 states. That's the reason of some losses. Today's creativity two lessons, it's a really good lesson. Every Sunday morning I do that. Just every lesson give me a surprise in the way, it's teaching me something new. Even though this is my second time, really like the lessons. So one key point is in this AI world, how to adapt, how to innovate, how to maneuver, how to put that in my back mind, think about that. Did the exercise 1 just thinking the Canadian government, all those things they did wrong? Exercise 2, collect critics. That's not easy to do, but I think I will use the accountability group comments, their self-assessment. I will assume all those things apply to me. How do I deal with that? Take them seriously. The traders exercise, I like it. I couldn't think of an answer when I first read most of the question. I did give some thought on each of that. My plan for next week, I will stop trading 3 minutes for a week. Just study and paper trade the 30-minute swings. I watch the daily podcast, but never get a better understand to start to even paper trade the 30-minute swings. So next week I will watch as many podcasts as I can and take some notes. Think about how to apply plan, prepare, execute, assess strategy, develop a minimal and viable daily routine to do the plan, prepare, execute, assessment. I realize plan is easy. I can make a really good plan, but execute is really hard. Assess is even harder. I will write out exit rules, how to apply to our battle drill in the 30-minute charts. Or how do I use lower time frame? Probably I should not do that. I don't know. How do I apply trading stop? How do I deal with large gaps? how do I deal with exceptional gains? And write out entry rules. What is no later than signal, no earlier than signal, lower time frame, potential reverse signals, all those stuff. Also need to write out the context rules. What is the hard time frame supply and the resist level? How do I know it's in compound critical states? What are they? What is the minimum reward to risk ratio, the 401 or 301? How to plan for that? That's my plan for next week. Seem a lot. Probably I'll need 2 or more weeks to do that, but that's my plan. I hope.
Good.
Hi, sorry, I had to the unmute button that disappeared into the taskbar, and to minimize the frame. So okay, anyway, hi everyone. Yeah, good to be here. Good. I think this interesting lesson. It kind of stuck with me from last time, but doing it this time round, I kind of see different things, and I kind of took the whole story about, Giap and the Ho Chi Minh Trail. There are things in there that kind of seems relevant or seen through the lens of a trading metaphor, if I can put it that way. So I'll just share with you what I kind of read into some of these things. So one of the things it talked about was active, flexible response, or in other words, adapting yourself to the situation. So now I am seeing this as a better decision making during trading. Kind of that is what came to my mind. I mean, of course, that's in the context of I think it was planning versus better decision making during trading. So that's one of the things that occurred to me. And then it says active flexible response wasn't achieved by sticking to obsolete rules. I think how that speaks to me in trading is you can have a rule to say I will enter every card 2, but not all. You still can do that really, but I guess not all card 2s are built the same. Some will go up, and some price will move for you, and sometimes price won't move for you, and it goes against you. And I think that so those rules are like you can just blindly follow them, and hope that if you take all of them, then maybe there is a positive expectancy, or we can just kind of refine our assessment of where the maybe the trade location is, and then make an assessment of whether we want to take that or not, I guess. And not all of them will be winners, but that's part of the trading game anyway. So winners and losers. So actually, that was one of the insights, aha moment I had. I did my histogram thing for the first time after a long time. And I think a lot of people have winners and losers. We're, just like, I don't know, 52% winners, or 55% winners. And I mean, it struck me that actually it's pretty close. And of course, the more you can make an edge for more winners and losers, that's good. But then it all depends on the size of your winners anyway. I mean, what I'm saying is that we don't have a system that's 75% winners, or maybe there is, and I haven't found it yet. So okay, the sidetracked, and let's move on. Then there was this thing about it was achieved by the opposite, creativity. And creativity was fed not by ideological uniformity, but by dynamic tension. So the emphasis on dynamic tension. I suppose there for me is that, referencing back to the Carter 2 thing is, price can still go up or go down, but I think then that becomes the dynamic tension for me is how much certainty do you want versus how fast you want to get in for higher reward or lower risk. Then next, you can reap the same creative benefit from the environment. The environment is alien and unpredictable. So here I read environment as the market or the symbol I trade. It is unpredictable every day, but I suppose in that unpredictability, there is some pattern and order in terms of, for example, the ROCO patterns that we can impose on it. But every day it's almost, it's unpredictable where it would open, where it would gap up or down or not, as the case may be. Then what else? Nature is not our enemy. Nature is the engine of life and the source of creativity. I suppose I actually didn't write anything there, but I just made it as a note. I think it's about perspective, how we view nature or the trading game, as it were. And the more we try to dominate or repress nature, the more fragile we make our own culture. I think that's and like for me, I equate now nature. I kind of think of in this case as one or more of my inner parts, and sometimes like a few weeks ago, I had this risk manager that was really wanting to be heard, but I was trying to just repress it and say no, that find more rules to overcome it. But I think the useful response for me is actually to acknowledge those parts and then to hear what they're saying, what the signal, what they're trying to say to me, and try and come up with a solution for all. And then the story says the more we embrace nature's volatile pushback, the more we feed off its creative energy to become creators ourselves. So yeah, like what previous point, it's about embracing what all my inner parts are saying and see if we can have a dialogue and come to a solution that's acceptable to all. And I think embracing all their views can lend itself to creative solutions. I think then it ends with the more nature's big struggle you admit into your life, the more you become like nature, resilient, dynamic, and boundlessly creative. So I think that's what I hope to be able to do, to let in nature's big struggle, or not even nature, or inner parts, or whatever, into my life, and hope that it will make enable me to become more resilient, dynamic, and boundlessly creative. That's it for me. I hope.
Ernie.
Good morning again. This will be another one of these things where I prepared early and had everything written out, and then I'm changing it all. I'm kind of going along with Kuhn's approach. I think I'm more in tune to what he may be feeling. But anyway, so I've written things down. I was doing this while I was sitting in my easy chair, trying to write notes and think, okay, this is what I want to talk about, and things like that. So I'm not even well organized. But the lesson starts out, talking about Vietnam, and that's when I grew up. That's the era that I was in college. Because I remember we were at I grew up in Florida, and I went to college in Iowa, which was a totally different environment that I grew up in. I had when I went to college, all I took were some leather shoes that is terrible on ice, and I took a London fog jacket. So whenever we had the first snow and the cold winter, we went to I don't know what you called it, a barn sale or something, and I had to buy a heavy jacket. I mean, I was a fish out of water. It was a totally different environment, and but one of the things that and this was like in 1967, and I remember we went to some people's house and watched the Democratic convention and in Chicago, and that how everybody was just so shocked at the demonstrations that were going on, and the riots in the street, and we're watching that on a small TV set, and people were really concerned about it. And I also remember, I think it was my last year in college, I think it was 1970, the Kent State thing, and they called it a massacre. And those were people my age that had been shot, and how much of a the emotions that was going on. And so it was an interesting period of my life. It was the first time I went to that. I guess I thought about death and mortality. The people that I was going to school with, we had the draft. I remember my freshman year that I met this guy and was, friends, and was starting to develop a friendship with somebody. And then he was drafted. He had to leave school, and it was really a strange experience for me to go through, to know someone, and then it was like he was doing something against his will. He didn't look forward to going into the service, but he did, and then it just seemed like he had been taken away from us, and we had no control. So and then I'm 18, 19 years old. I wasn't. I didn't really know how to deal with things like that, and then plus leaving high school and going away from home, I'm in an emotionally vulnerable state, so I'm pretty impressible by the things that were going on. So, and everybody was going to protest, that this young man had been taken away from us, and so we were enraged by that, and so it was an interesting time of my life. And so I really learning, I guess it's where it was the things that influenced me in my developing years. So and I say it's an interesting time in my life. I don't know that I can say that there is an uninteresting time of my life. It's been interesting all the way through, just different degrees and things. I too was impressed about nature, and that nature is our environment, and that nature is not our enemy. Matter of fact, we always talk about Mother Nature and the maternal instincts of nature, but the reality is nature will take us out. It's not just, I mean, you don't really you have to be aware of nature, and if it's something that you want to change, or if it's something, I guess if you want to talk about conflict, if it's going to be me against nature, nature wins. It's there's no question about it. 100 years from now, I won't be here, but nature will. So it's going to be the thing. So there's nothing, I think we spend so much time resisting nature, and it's really, we just need to embrace it. And like Kyun was talking about, the more of nature's struggle that we admit into our life, the more that we'll become like nature. We become resilient, dynamic, and creative. So it's really not something to resist, and just to be a part of it, to embrace it, accept it, and respect it. The my trader exercise, and I guess my trader experience for the week, one of the things, and something that was for me, it was very interesting. I've been trading on the 30-minute chart, and then I switched over. Well, I decided that it wasn't working out, and during that day, but I wasn't really ready to walk away from the computer and do something different. I decided to do something that I don't really like to do, and that was trade on the 1-minute chart. It's way too fast for me. I'm getting old, slowing down. So having to make these decisions one right after the other so quickly and react so fast, I'm not doing that very well. But I decided to go ahead and do it anyway, but do it, but paper trade it, and then practice keeping track of of what was going on and documenting what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that. And so I just had a completely different attitude towards my trading. It didn't make any difference whether I won or lost. I was just going through the motion. And so I think that change in attitude, I never traded like that. It's more like just gambling, just place your bet and see what happens. And so I was very relaxed and just kind of going through the motion and documenting the trade. But it really helped me to focus. I think just relaxing and just doing what I felt was the natural thing to do, trying to follow the rules without worrying about the results or the how it would turn out, not being afraid of it, really it really put me in a different frame of mind and gave me a great approach to the trading. And I sort of got back into it. And so it was a surprising result to me, because it was something I was sort of in foreign. The way I was trading was just different than my natural approach. So, and in a sense, I guess I was keeping it fresh in a way, because I was doing something that I didn't normally do, and I was doing it in a manner that I didn't normally use. So it was a great experience for me, and I really kind of liked it. So I spent a lot of time journaling my reaction to trading that way, and the different feelings that I had. And so that was a surprise. I didn't intend to do that, but as I got into it and as I did my assessment afterwards, I really learned a lot of lessons from that, and it was a great experience. So great lesson for me, different approach for me here at the last minute, and great to be with you. Aho.
Jeff.
Can everybody hear me? All right. Yeah, I guess I'll provide a different perspective on Get Environmentally Dynamic. I enjoyed the story. I wasn't born when some of this went on, but one thing that struck me was they're moving 30 tons of equipment over foot trails and bicycle trails. So that's more than a truckload. You know, we get a truck, we have semi trucks bringing us supplies here every day, and 25 tons is about what the average truck can haul. So that's pretty impressive that they did that. Out of the whole story, the last sentence is what caught my eye the most. The more of nature's struggle we admit into our lives, the more we'll become like nature, resilient, dynamic, and boundlessly creative. So as a kid, I grew up in nature, relatively speaking. So if I want to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone, I go to the city. And it seems completely foreign. So I do that frequently for short durations, but I'm totally comfortable in the wilderness. I'm not comfortable in the middle of a city. It's the opposite, I think, of most people. And then I realized suddenly that I have a job where we fight against nature. And for the first 3 years, that's how I viewed it. I thought we're here to fight this fire and put it out and extinguish it. That's actually not our job. Our job is to protect lives and property. So fire is natural. Nature creates it with a lightning strike. In the past, it would have just been allowed to take its normal course. But the problem is people build homes and have things they care about out there. So we have to go try to protect those things. But we're actually not fighting the fire, typically. And we have a couple of fires. We have fires that if there's no lives threatened or any reason to do it, we have fires that we just let naturally take their course. There's one in Zion National Park right now that was started by lightning, but we're not going to do anything about it because there's no reason to take those risks. And it is a natural way for nature to refresh the landscape, and it gets rid of all the weak and dead plants, and they become fertilizer for the new plants. So exercise 1, I thought a lot about this, and I just synthesized it into a couple of sentences, but I'm very resistant to what I perceive as the slow-moving, careless, unknowing bureaucracy that finds itself in charge of our dynamic organization. So they didn't build it. They've never worked in it. They don't understand it, but they are in charge of it. And in response, I adapt, innovate, outmaneuver, and plead ignorant. So I help build it. I work in it. I know it. I understand it. So they're at a disadvantage in every encounter. So I found that, I can just say, hey, you're right. I just forgot about that. And they say, okay, don't do that again. Or I'll say, I didn't know. As long as you let people get right, you can do whatever you want, as long as you let them feel like they're right. But it's hindering our progress. Exercise 2, it says invite people around you to submit anonymous critiques. So in my life, we get instant feedback, and it's not anonymous, and sometimes it's not kind, it's truthful. So I'm used to that. In the beginning, when people they rebel against that, they have a hard time accepting it. But once you have been in this environment that we're in for a while, you welcome it. You welcome the challenge because you feel such a bond with your peers that you don't want to be the guy that's not pulling his load. So we welcome the critique. And we hope that we're not the guy in the circle, right? The one guy that messed up that day, but we all will be at some point. And then Ken's story about Lotus 1-2-3 hit home with me because that was like my favorite program, and they destroyed it and forced me to go to Microsoft Excel, which I still am not in love with. And I had another aha moment during this lesson that on question number 5, it said, what could you do to put yourself in a position where surprise was inevitable? And the thought, I wrote down what came into my mind. And it's true, I think. I thought about it for a couple of days. But these situations attract me like a moth to a flame. That's just what I like. I don't want to think that every day of my life is going to be just like yesterday. I want to go to work knowing that something that I don't know is something's going to happen that I have no idea about. That's just the way I like it. What did I have to let go in order to receive the gift of the surprise is my belief that I knew something. And I think that's what I like about it. And what else have I got? So I was sitting, we're sitting ready, you know, we go to work, we get ready, and then if we don't fly, we have all kinds of meetings and things, but we have a lot of downtime. So I've been working on Creativity 202, but we're out here in the desert and we have this one big giant tree on the tanker base that we've cultivated. You know, we water it, we take care of it, keep the insects off of it. We've got nice grass underneath it. So for you guys in the other parts of the country, you might take grass for granted, but like it can't survive here without a lot of human intervention. We have to water it and take care of it. So we have a patch of grass that's probably, I don't know, 100 feet square. And that's the most popular place. So all the young guys are out there. I was watching the guys and they're out there unpacking their packs and repacking them. And what you notice is they have a whole pile of stuff that they're not taking with them next time. So they packed worthless stuff and they packed stuff that was too heavy. And so they're trying to sort this out. And I also noticed that the experienced firefighters were over there. Their pack was packed. They didn't change anything. And they're laying down sleeping because they know that the call's going to come and their sleep is more important than fiddling with their pack. But the new guys are figuring that out. And I also kind of thought, well, if you emptied out even the experienced guys, if you took all the stuff out of their packs, it's going to be different. Everybody thinks some things are important or other things are important, but every one of those guys is going to have water because that's the most important thing they can take out there with them, because you won't find it out there, not any drinkable water. And they know that it weighs 8.33 pounds per gallon, which may not seem too heavy if you're carrying it from your car to your kitchen. But if you're carrying it 10 miles, like some of these guys do, it gets really heavy. And they're all going to have their primary tool. So if you're a sawyer, you're going to be carrying a chainsaw, and someone's got to carry the gas for that. And if you're a line fireman, you have a tool called a Pulaski that somebody invented years ago. A firefighter took an axe and a pick or like a grubbing hoe and cut them apart and welded them together. And that's become the standard firefighting tool for all wildland firefighters in the Northern American continent. So there's maybe 4 or 5 things that they all have to have comms too. You have to have communications with your team and the ability to get a hold of people. So there's maybe 5 things they're all going to do the same, and then everything else could be different. So that was kind of an aha moment for me. And I think in trading, you see the same thing. So I think if I could share my screen, I'll share just a couple of things with you guys. So the first one is a short video clip that one of the guys on the ground sent me. I had my first mission this year a week or so ago, and the special part about it is my student that I've been telling you about. It was his first mission ever, and he and I got to fly it together, which was pretty unusual. But I enjoyed it, and I think he enjoyed not having to sit around for a week or two worrying about how it was going to be. He got to see that right off the bat. I'm going to keep the volume turned down. It's only a 7-second clip, but one of the ground guys sent it to me. It's just a cell phone video, so the quality's not good. But you can see immediately here the environment they work in. It's pretty hostile at times, but it's not G-rated, so I'm going to keep the volume turned down. And actually, I'll probably just play it back at half speed. But this is my first piece of work that I did this year. And when I saw the video, the one thing that struck me was that's what I want it to look like. It looks easy, right? It doesn't look hard at all. And I think that's what I notice in Ken when he does his nightly podcast, because that's my definition of a professional. When you take something really, really difficult and make it look so easy that anybody could do it, I think that's a sign of a professional. I have one more thing I'll share with you guys. And I shared this with the accountability group, but I didn't get a chance to attend the meeting or the Zoom meeting, because I had a meeting here that I had to attend at the exact same time. So this is my week. These are just the trades from this past week, 22 trades. And I had the best week I've had in this account since I started trading the lower time frames. So I had the largest winning trade, which was 10.4. I think on Tuesday it was like 11.6, but it closed at 10.4. And then I had the largest losing trade I've ever had, which was minus 1.28. This just reports it as minus 1.2. But wins and losses were 50-50. But the 30-minute swing trades paid for all of my mistakes. So my trading was no better or worse than it has been throughout the whole thing. The only two things I did really right were my first trade on Monday was a short collapsing dragon trade on a 3-minute chart, and I closed it after 1 hour for 5.12 R. I thought, wow, that's really great. And it is. It's a good way to start the week. But after work, I came home to do my assessment and mark up my charts, and I realized that was an 11-hour trade that I closed at the halfway point. And I thought, man, I'd like to capture more of that. So that's when I started thinking, if I trade in the morning on the lower time frames and I have a trade that's really working, I'm just going to set my stop to protect some of my profits and then just transfer it to the 30-minute chart. So I had some pretty decent trades on the 3-minute chart, but I also had a lot of losses there too. But I had 3 swing trades that paid for all of it. So if you take out those 3 swing trades, I would have just had a flat week. And I think that's the important thing. But the 50-50 win rate shows that I didn't know, I wasn't accurate at all. But the big thing for me is the fact that I didn't cut my winners short is what made the whole thing work. So that's something I'm taking with me into next week. The idea that the 30-minute chart will allow me to let these winners run. So I'm going to keep working on the 30-minute chart as best I can. And I think that's all I have for you guys. I hope.
Great work as always, guys. I'm going to hit the tones one more time and ask you to think about your word for the week ahead. My work in progress. I'm gonna give you the foundations Q&A presentation I made. It was really good. Reporting on intentional dreaming for exploring the story space, and it's probably a technique I'll talk about maybe on Thursday. But it was basically, I went to bed a couple hours earlier than I usually do, knowing that I would then get up a couple hours early, and then my plan was to go back to sleep, but with an intention. And it turned out to be an exploration of story thinking and how to present it, and the result was the presentation from earlier this morning on story thinking and collaborative space, and why it's so powerful, and how it all fits into our professional body of knowledge. And really, I can't do it justice without letting you just listen to the whole package. So it's a pretty good one. And yeah, I'll if you get any questions, just send them to me for questions and answers. I'll include them on Thursdays, or I guess it's Tuesdays. Creativity check-in. So I'm going to hit the tones and ask you to listen for the word for the week ahead. Long.
Fearless.
Ernie.
Perspective.
Jeff.
Patience.
Kyun.
Adapt.
Dream space. All right, fellas. Always good to see you. Great work again as usual. And I'm going to head upstairs and see what we have for brunch. I can hear her calling. Take good care, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.